Welcome into the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the Impact Power Sports studio. Impact Power Sports in Rockford, Michigan, kind of. Actually, east of the downtown area. Halfway to Greenville. 2/3 of the way to Greenville. Impact Power Sports. Find them online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Great group over there, especially if you're in the market for a Yamaha golf cart or perhaps a side-by-side ATV, UTV, motorcycle, e-bike, a scooter. How about a scooter? Go-kart? My God. That's my good friends over there at Impact Power Sports. Busy day today. The only thing that could get in the way of discussing it would be if I was sidetracked at the last minute because of a bombardment of screenshots from audience members. I am very, very thankful that folks who listen to this show listen to my old show with the lens of, can you believe these fucking assholes are doing this? Look at this, or listen to this. Every day I get something interesting. Thank you for that. You are my ears and my eyes when my ears and my eyes are focused on important things. Let's be honest. They are important to me. That show's existence, it needs to stay exactly the way it is for the remainder of my days on this planet. I don't want anything bad to happen to that show. And that's a little bit of a conflict for me because a part of me wants it to go terrible for Greg where, he's like in a pile of wreckage from an airplane crash. But then I'm like, no, you don't want that because then your cash cow's leaving, for God's sake. Normally on a normal day, I would start out talking about Pooh Bear and the cataract procedure. People are like, well, I hope it all went well. It did. But I have to get into this thing that I have now been caught up on with our pals, Free Beer and Hot Wings. Okay. And I titled this show Sucks? Put on Makeup. I have been caught up, and I am now aware as to what was happening. When I first saw it, I was like, what is going on? What is happening here? From what I'm understanding, they do this a show on one night a month where, you know how like a regular show, they're in the studio. Well, then they go home and then they come back in the evening and do the same goddamn thing they do during the day, which is nothing. Random chit-chat, fun, good-natured ribbing, and a game where they list something and then everybody screams shit out of the top of their lungs and they get fucking points. As it goes, I guess the band Ghost, who I had never heard of. I don't know who the fuck that is, and I don't care to know. Some band called Ghost is in town. So I looked it up, and they're real theatrical. They wear, like, makeup and masks, and you don't know who the participants in the band are. I guess they're from, like, Sweden or some shit like that. They have anonymity. You may be watching an extremely famous person. I think, in fact, Dave Grohl at one point put on the Ghost gear and performed while he was banging a side piece. David says they've been around a while. They are pretty good. Yeah, I was able to gather that they are pretty popular and pretty well respected. They put a lot into it. Think like a Trans-Siberian Orchestra type of vibe with the grandiose nature of it. A lot of fantastic lighting and solid live performances. Not my type of music, but I know a lot of people follow them. So, but how now that means that this should happen is beyond me. And it all comes back to our show sucks, so we must do this, I guess. I mean, thank God I'm not there, because if I was in that room and they suggested what I'm about to reveal to you, I'd be like, fuck you. Fuck off. You fucking assholes. This is Ghost. And I guess because they're in town, and Greg and Chris and the rest of the crew are across the street from the arena where Ghost is playing, that means that they must look like this. Okay, now make no mistake. This is all Greg's wife doing all this to these people, making them look like fucking morons. When your show sucks, you put on makeup. I mean, where do you go from there? You start doing the show that has a visual element to it. And I'll link it up in the show notes so you can see this ridiculous nature of this. Rich says Greg's neck is so fat. He does have a fat neck. So, I mean, if you're doing that show live yesterday in the evening, you come back to the radio station, you do the same shit you do during the day. What is there to talk about? I mean, why do this? Why in the world, how does this affect what you're saying and doing on your show? How does it make it better? It doesn't. It's ridiculous. Okay? 60-year-old men putting fucking makeup on. And I did say this, and I mean it. Greg's hair, when he has bangs, it actually looks better. Like, as ridiculous as this picture is here, that's what Bob says. He says the emo swoop on Greggy does look better than the monstrosity he normally has, or that he normally does. I absolutely agree with that. I mean, take away the stupid makeup that the nose put on him. But IMKO says, what the fuck did I just turn on? Oh, well, you missed it. When your show sucks, you put on makeup. And that's what our pals did. They put makeup on because the band Ghost was appearing across the street. I mean, if you want to try to catch the vibe of Ghost, do it correctly. Go all white base with the black markings. I mean, that's an expert job of makeup there. That's exceptional. I mean, that's goddamn creepy as shit, but whatever the fuck. So that's what happened on our pals, the Free Beer and Hot Wings show yesterday, or last night. And unfortunately, I witnessed, I wouldn't even have known about it had I didn't get numerous people weighing in, saying, easy, you got to talk about this. For sure. This is a silly stunt that the juice is not worth the squeeze. And that's a terrible thing to say. If you put in all that effort, and at the end of the day, it's just you and makeup, and you still suck at everything that comes out of your mouth sucks shit. that is the juice not being worth the squeeze. It is a stupid attempt at I don't know what. Bob says he looks like any other elder emo and a decade younger. Nick says the singer from Ghost pulls off a pretty good Bohemian Rhapsody cover. Luke, working backwards, he says, hey, Easy, I wasn't around the live shows yesterday. I was surprised nobody asked about the divorce thing you said on Facebook last Monday. Luke is referring to when I was at Fear Bunker North. And I did about a 50-second video where I said, hey, look, if there's any talk about divorce, I will break in and do an emergency show. That it was 100% a clickbait title. Just to do exactly what you just said. Try to get somebody talking. That is, I've been away from any type of attention, and I need some. So all I need to do is throw out the idea that one of those pieces of shit maybe getting, or some piece of shit somewhere in the world. It's very, very vague, I realize, but that's the point. Could be getting a divorce. And then everybody kind of like goes, what? Oh my God. Holy shit. I'm stupid. I got to know more. Fuck. I'm an asshole. Matt with the crack. I can't wait until Snoop is in town and they do blackface. So I think it's important to compare in Eric Zane Show podcast bracketology, which free beer look will survive. This look with the eye makeup on and the hair. I mean, the most ridiculous thing about free beer is the hair. Now, in this particular image, he looks more like the original RoboCop. I think that the emo look looks better than this shit with the forehead. And this is just, he looks, my God, what is going on there? He looks homeless. He looks like he's getting ready to go stab people at Walmart. And I don't know what the fuck this is. God damn. He looks like Lester Holt, formerly of NBC Nightly News, if he lost all of the pigment in his skin. He looks like an albino Klingon, for God's sake. I think this is the best look. But when you see these in succession like that, it's really an embarrassment. This is a fucking ghoulish looking man. Fuck me. Megan with the crack. He looks like the Chicago gangs got to him. Alan suggests he looks like the mammoth from Ice Age. Well, there you go. That was the fun that was had, and I had numerous people. I had Matt B. in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. He just sent me a pic, and he wrote, beat him up. Stevie says he looks like a South Park goth. Or goth. Not goth. Goth. Our Pooh Bear is resting right now. By the way, when I was up north for Q100 hosting the Arts and Crafts show. And I don't know, did I tell the story yesterday about the kid? I think I did. Who fell off the bridge and broke his ankle and then bashed his skull on the rocks of the water. I'm pretty sure I did tell that story yesterday. Anyway, various folks came out to say hello at the Arts and Crafts Fair. And I went on the air, on the radio, and I said, ladies and gentlemen, I am selling Eric Zane the Insane Asylum dream catchers that I made with my two hands. And they're a rare, one of a kind, every one a unique work of art that you need to have in your home. And they're very unique because they are made with harvested eagle feathers, which it's illegal to have an eagle feather. That's the joke. So I'm going on the radio saying that I was using a blow dart thing and climbing trees and blow darting bald eagles. And then climbing over to the nest and plucking out plumage to make dream catchers. So I talked about that on the air, and there were actually people that approached me and said, yeah, I'm here about the bald eagle dream catchers. Like, they believe me. I even suggested that the DNR, I had to bribe the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources conservation officers, with cash in hand to get them to look the other way about my bald eagle feather dream catchers after I tranquilized bald eagles and took their feathers to make my dream catchers. Numerous hard living line folks approached and asked about the dream catchers, and I go, well, and I didn't have the heart to tell them, so I just said, oh, they sold out. They're gone. I sold them all. Also, an audience member. His name is Scott. Nice guy. Really nice guy. He was hanging out, and Pooh Bear was looking at the crafts, and it was like 105 degrees out there. And she comes rolling up, and I go, hey, Scott, this is my wife. And he goes, Pooh Bear, which was hysterical. I think I have referenced her on the air on Q100 more than once as Pooh Bear, which a lot of people seem to like that. I'll say this about the Q100 audience. I'm learning very, very quickly that a little goes a long way. Because you don't get the full scope of my personality on that show. It's guarded. It's measured. I won't speak for any more than 80 seconds, maybe. And you're talking about in a 4-hour show, I might talk for 6.5 minutes during 4 hours. Yet I still get cornered about people talking about like the things I do on there. And it's really basic, really basic. I'm kind of reminded about the magic and spirit of radio. As much as I've dogged on it in the past, there are still people, especially in areas north of any hard living line, where that's like the only means of them, hearing any type of pop culture things. As pop culture as playing old rock and roll can possibly be. Bob says our boy Freebear looks like he could be the guitar tech for Fall Out Boy. So today, well, actually last night after I finished the podcast day, I was like, you know what? You're an idiot. You did not tip the audience off that Tuesday would be a bit of a wonky day because of the fact that I have to get Pooh Bear to the eye doctors. Now, she has cataracts, which the only thing I know about cataracts is that it's for old people. And I'm reminded once again that we're old. I've been doing that a lot lately. Side note to the cataract story. I've been having these 100% serious thoughts about like mortality. And I brought it up to Pooh Bear when we were driving up north. And she goes, I don't want to talk about this anymore. I go, you're goddamn right. This is horrible. being that right at this point in time, I am closer to 60 than I am 50. I'm looking at the timeline. All right, let's just do it this way. I moved to the community that I'm in right now 21 years and 1 month ago. That amount of time seems to have gone very fast to me right now. And I know that as you get older, that time will seem even faster. So if I take that amount of time, 21 years, and add it to right now, that means in the same amount of time, I'll be 76. Okay, that's fucked up. Because once you're 76, I mean, seriously, it could hit at any given time. Now, probably not, as my family is extremely, well, especially on my dad's side, late 90s is no big deal. But, I mean, what the fuck am I going to do? Especially if I start going crackers, It's got me thinking, I mean, how much about how this plays out. How in the world do I have, is it possible for me to have the ability as I get increasingly old and grizzled to sit here and talk on a mic staring at a webcam? That's remarkable. Look, if I am able to pull, these are dog poo bags in my hand. I don't know why I'm fiddling with them. If the time comes that I continue to age and I'm still able to pull this off, I think it actually starts to get more impressive. You got to stay on top of things. And I think I have that capability as long as I don't lose my mind. I think I've got more sense than I give myself credit for. Case in point, I shot a video of the canoe marathon the other day, which I got to show you, by the way, because there was something hilarious on this video that I shot. It looked like next to Diana, there was a dismembered leg. Because she sits, she's a W sitter. Have you ever seen people that sit with their legs in a W? Because when they were kids, their mom or dad didn't tell them to sit crisscross applesauce. Pooh Bear is one of those. So anyway, I shot this video, and right behind me was a dude from the radio station. He's shooting the same thing. The river, the canoers jumping in. The difference was I shot mine and then posted it. He did it live. For several minutes before, it was just him looking at what you see right here. And though the content is the same, mine is neat and slick. And though he's like 35 and I'm 55, I still knew full well that the video has to be shot and then posted because you got to clean it up. You got to put a title on it. You got to put appropriate hashtags on it, and then you post it. So we're looking at the same things. But his is a live video. Mine is recorded and then posted. His has 500 views. Mine has 17,000 views. Why? Well, when it comes to especially social media and online viewing, you've got about 3 seconds to get people involved in your video. If you don't, they're gone. In fact, I'm going to use this example at the Eric Zane mass media class, which gets started in less than a month at Aquinas College. Branjo says the same thing. This is great insight, good for the college class. And I plan on using this as an example. It's just very, very basic best practices. You know, if you just hit go and expect people to watch it, that's ridiculous. You gotta lift a finger. So all I did was I just edited the beginning a little bit. 2 seconds into the video, you see what's going to be the meat of that video. The thing's just a couple of minutes long. Pooh Bear looks like she's got a broken leg laying next to her, or a ripped off leg. I'll get to that in a second. And then everybody enjoys the video. So again, there's all these people. The starting gun goes off. The guys throw their canoes in.
That was rough.
Okay, so look at Pooh Bear. It looks like someone cut their leg off and laid it next to her. I love the braids, by the way. It's so pretty. Look at how pretty the braids are on Pooh Bear. And then this guy in the blue shirt, him and his partner won. And these two dudes in the black, they came in second. This is a great video. People shared it, and now it's going all the way around the world. People are loving this video. Because it's cool. I mean, come on. That's the difference between an easy joint and everybody else. And her leg still looks like it's dismembered because it's just not moving. By the way, this kid to the right of her is the grandson of one of the richest men in the world. This little dude here in the gray. Actually, I think he's the great-grandson. If you were to look up the name Ted Stahl, Ted Stahl is he is very, very wealthy, and I was there with Charity Scam Mike. And I forget his line of work, but he's extremely rich. Well, Charity Scam Mike, a decade and a half ago, got a call from Ted Stahl. Well, not Ted Stahl himself, but from a guy who works for him. And Mike sells and installs burglar alarms. And says, yes, Mr. Stahl would like to see you. He would like you to pitch him on installation of a burglar alarm. Mike says, sure. Grosse Pointe alarm. And he bangs on the door of this big-ass house, and the butler answers the door. Now, this is the guy that's sitting right next to Pooh Bear and I. He's elderly, but he's there with his wife. He seemed to be enjoying himself, and he's got his grandkids and great-grandkids. And all those kids in front of Ted Stahl are very, very wealthy. They will be. Stahl's sitting there, and Mike tells me the story that he banged on the door, and the butler answers the phone. And he goes, please have a seat. Mr. Stahl will be with you momentarily. A little bit of time passes. Butler comes up. He says, Mr. Stahl will see you now. Mike gets up, gets in there, and he behaved like a multimillionaire / billionaire. The quote that he said to Michael was, do you know that I'm the 144th wealthiest man in America? So give me your best shot and don't screw around when it comes to selling me selling me an alarm. And Mike says, well, that's not the thing you want to sell or that you'd like to say. That's not the thing you should say to a salesman, that you're so very wealthy. And I go, well, how did that go over? He goes, actually, what I said went over good. He realized that I was not intimidated not intimidated by him. That's according to Mike. He goes, that was a test. He's trying to intimidate me. And I didn't blink. I go, did you get the sale? He goes, fuck yes, I got the sale. Man bun. And then, in fact, Mike walked up he goes, Mr. Stahl? And the guy goes, yes. He goes, Mike Stong. Charity Scam Mike. I sold you an alarm, blah, 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 blah. And just wanted to say hi. And he goes, I remember that. I don't know if he really did, but he said that. That's where we were at the canoe race. Man Bun Chris talks about my mortality talk. He says, don't be silly. There's no slowing down for EZ. But you need King's Room to complete the look, in my opinion. The HLL haircut is decent, but Deidre has you looking slick. Man Bun Chris is referring to the fact that just before vacation, I cut my own hair. You're 100% right. Man Bun Chris says, rule number 1, if they go low, you go lower. Rule 2, circle their face and post as an insult. Rule 3, audience members have a goldfish attention span. LOL. That's what I can teach the class. It's always worth Facebook jail if it means you can attack them and make them feel bad. Donut Dan, who has a doctor's degree in shit cleaning up and cleaning shit up, said, did you use a Flowbee? It's a great reference. Man Bun Chris says, Mallory and I, he wrote me and Mallory, but he means Mallory and I, just bought the book for book club. Been crazy with NPSL lately, but we'll be catching up here this weekend. And I'm so glad you brought that up because I want to talk about Big Fraud Book Club, the first ever edition of it, show number 1, yesterday on Patreon. The Nikki Sixx book, Heroin Diaries, is about 480 pages. I have a feeling that most of us went well past the 25% amount of reading. It's because that book is really easy to process and digest, you know. And so I'm thinking that the next time we meet, we will have finished the book. And I'm not sure if that should be Monday of this coming week or we go the week after. That's still up in the air. I will kind of wait and see how the comments are on this and the feedback that I get now that I've thrown that out there. So if what I just said to you makes you go, well, this is what I think, by all means, leave that in the chat or text me if you have my cell phone. Some of you do. Some I wish I'd never gave them to you. I'm kidding. There's only one I wish I never gave it to. Fucking Pellerito. Anyway. And or you can email me. Chris K checks in. He says, easy. I think the week after next. I think that's probably what we'll do, but I'll wait to get a little bit more input on that. I hammered out a ton of pages today when it comes to reading when I was getting Pooh Bear to the dock, which I'll go back to that in a second. You know how it is on this show. I get sidetracked. Next thing you know, I'm talking about something entirely different, and then Luke checked out episode 1 of EZ's Big Fraud Book Club on Patreon. He says, I did enjoy listening to the book club conversation on the show. Yeah, so ultimately, in a perfect world, we're going to have people that are listening to the book club shows and not even reading the books. That would be the sweet spot. Some of the talk, I get you're not going to understand what's going on. But this book in particular, being that it is it's a famous person, Nikki Sixx in the Heroin Diaries, and what it is, a year in the life of Nikki Sixx, shooting up heroin every chance he can get, snorting cocaine and drinking till he's falling down. and his entries into the diary and the furthermore comments now that he is free of the demons of substance abuse is quite insightful. It's a great read. Alan says, I'm listening to book club without partaking. That's excellent. I want to do this, though. Between now and next week, I want to have the next name for who's on the hot seat for book. Okay? So, like, the way this goes is if we're going to do book club, not next Monday, but the Monday after, I will already have established the next person who is choosing a book. You know what I mean? So, out of all the people that are part of book club, I'll draw a name, and then that person is on the hot seat. Runner girl Amy says to Alan, hey, you're going to want to read this book. Yeah, you still can. It's an excellent read. You can either get it at your library if you want. You can get it on the Kindle deal, which is dirt cheap to get a book, or just buy the book, whatever. It's an excellent book. Adam Balboa sent me the lyrics to a song by the band 6 a.m., which is Nikki Sixx. And because there is actually a soundtrack to the Heroin Diaries. And the soundtrack to the Heroin Diaries is by 6 a.m. He said, easy, check out the lyrics to the song Accidents Can Happen. And it's all about substance abuse. Now, I mean, I don't know everything about every audience member here, but I'm going to guess that none of you are on cocaine or heroin. Maybe you are. I don't know. Maybe there's a few of you that are dealing with substance issues, but the lyrics to the song Accidents Can Happen is, I guess, pretty insightful. And it was. I read those lyrics of Nikki Sixx, and it was pretty cool that he did that. Megan is going to bail on the book. She says, if you're local, you can buy my copy. I cannot with this. So, Megan, you got to understand with Megan. She's like a bundle of energy. She says, I'm not bailing on the book. So when she's done, you can buy the book. All right? I thought with the line, I can't with this, you were suggesting that you can't read it, you know? But she said that this book is freaking her out because of, like, the font and the shiny pages. It's like it's not jiving with her brain. So, you know, if we wake up and we find out that she went bonkers, like she's gone, she went to start a new life somewhere, we can blame the reading of that book. Donut Dan says he is a donut addict. That I believe. So I did not tell the audience yesterday that I would be late today. My bad. And by the way, one more thing. Sorry. There is a plot twist as to the origin of us reading this book. And it's at the beginning of the Patreon bonus podcast. All we knew last week, or when we assigned the book, we drew Maureen's name, and then she went crazy. And she said, oh, my God, I can't possibly think of a book. It's impossible. And then all of a sudden she did think of a book. Well, put a pin in all of that oddness, and it's even more weird. This might be the most willy-nilly human being on the planet. All right? Now, I mean, everybody's different. I cannot function in that type of world. Like if someone drew my name and said, EZ, what book are we reading? I'm not going to go and like search. I just go in the other room, grab the one on top and say this one. Not everybody can do that. She is that times a million in the opposite direction. Impossible. She probably can't make her mind up on anything. Luke says, I did enjoy that the first discussion of book club was said quality of the book. Well, anyway, that's on Patreon, and book club episode number 2 is 2 weeks from yesterday. So sign up on Patreon. I still have a goal of 240 people on Patreon paid by July, the end of business, July 31. So if you've ever thought about it, signing up for Patreon, now would be a great time because I'd love to get 3 people on to put me at 240 overall. It'd be the first time in a long time that I've had that many. I'm staying kind of like right at the same spot. I haven't been able to get over the 240 plateau. And on Patreon, all that keeps happening there is more and more content. We have built a stable of shows that are endless. I mean, Lost Zane recordings will eventually run out, but I'm not worried about it anytime soon. It's kind of like people who are worried about our sun burning out in 1 billion years. Not to mention the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, the daily Patreon bonus, something to listen to while I'm away. Who are these freebiers? Book club. Amy says, Megan, didn't you have discussion questions? We should tackle those next time. The ones she provided were AI generated. So it's a perfect time to join Patreon. Okay, before I continue on with Diana's cataract adventure, as we are both very, very old, I'm going to kick out the audience that is on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for being here. If you want the rest of the show, it's on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. Twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. I already talked about Patreon. Sign up for that. If you want to email me, that's old-fashioned, I know. Head over and send an email along, eric@ericzaneshow.com. That is the Shoreliners Striping inbox. I love correspondence on email. It really cuts through the clutter. And I love talking to people. It's one of the drawbacks of doing a show from home. I don't see people enough. I don't communicate enough with people. You know, all I do basically is fight with people online who deserve to be fought with. I enjoy the conversation with normal thinking people. Eric@ericzaneshow.com. That's the Shoreliners Striping inbox. The audio podcast of my show is available everywhere. All right. Thank you, folks. I'm going to kick you out now.